This 250 pages PDF contains Nigerian new tax law. However, if you don't want to spend your entire weekend doing a whole law degree just to know how much you are supposed to pay, then stay with me, because in this video, I will show you how to calculate clearly and easily the exact tax amount you are supposed to pay. Let's start with the basic. If you hear minimum wage or anything below 800,000 in a year, you are not paying any tax. But the moment you cross that line, even by a few naira, you enter a system so chaotic that even the people enforcing it barely understand it. Under the new tax law, the first 800,000 of your income is not taxable. After that, your money starts climbing a ladder of different percentage. But before we climb anything, we need to know your chargeable income. That is, the money the government considers available for taxation. To know this, there are two terms you need to get familiar with. The first is gross income, while the second is deductibles. For the benefit of those who don't know, gross income is the total amount of money you earn in 12 months. That is a year. So everybody has gross income, whether you are a salary earner, you are a freelancer, you are a Yahoo boy, you are Osho paid, Osho free with benefit. If money enter your hand, legally, illegally, or by divine arrangements, it counts as gross income. But before the government boggle your accounts, they will at least allow you to remove some deductibles under the tax reform. Deductibles are specific expenses individuals are legally permitted to subtract before their taxable income is calculated. This includes things like your pension, your health insurance, your life insurance, and every other things like that is recognized by the government. And of course, your rent relief. But the rent relief comes with a catch. Actually, two catches. The first catch is that rent relief is only for tenants, which implies that if you are a landlord, you don't qualify for that. Secondly, the government gives you two options if you are a tenant, which is 20% of the annual rates or 500,000 naira, whichever one is smaller. What does this mean in real life? It means 500,000 naira is the maximum amount of rent relief you can ever get, no matter how much you pay. So if you pay 50 million naira in body loan, your rent relief cap at 500,000 naira. And on the flip side, if 20% of the annual rent is less than 500,000 naira, you are not getting the 500,000 naira. You are only getting that smaller amount. After your first 800,000 naira, which is untaxed, everything else is sliced into layers. Your next 2.2 million naira is taxed at 15%. Whatever you make from that 2.2 million naira to the next 9 million naira is taxed at 8%. Whatever you have until the next 30 million naira is taxed at 21%. Now, let's say after we remove the 30 million, you still have money left, you are a big boy, whatever we can calculate, until the next 25 million naira is taxed at 23%. Whatever you make above that 50 million naira is taxed at 25%. I know this may seem very, very complicated to a lot of people, but I'll break it down in a way that you understand it. Now, let's see how this plays out in real time. And to do this, I'll use two scenarios, which is high income earner, which is somebody that earns a lot of money in a year, and low income earner, so that everybody can know where they belong and how to calculate their tax accordingly. Scenario one is a low income earner. That is, let's say somebody that earns around 120k, 200k, 300k. So let's say, for instance, somebody that earns 300k in a month. So for somebody that earns 300k in a month, in a year, you are making 3.6 million naira. Now, remember I said government allow you to remove some deductibles, which are money that you can legally remove before we calculate your tax. This person, let's say the pension, all other deductibles is 200,000 naira. Now, let's say this person pay a rent of 360,000 naira in a year. So now, because this 360,000 naira is not up to an amount that we can remove 500k deductible from, so we're going to calculate 20% of that. 20% of 360 is 72,000 naira. So it means to calculate your deductibles before we can calculate your tax, it's going to be your 200,000 naira, which is for your pension, life insurance and all, and 72,000 naira from rent relief. Now, total of that equals to 272,000 naira. This 272,000 naira is what you can remove from your 3.6 million naira before we start calculating your tax. Your chargeable income is now your 3.6 million naira minus the 272,000 naira, which equals to 3,328,000 naira. So your chargeable incomes or your taxable income is now 3,328,000 naira. But also remember we said your first 800,000 naira is not taxed. You understand now? After you remove the deductibles, your first 800,000 naira, or let's say the remaining is 800,000 naira, you cannot be taxed. But if we remove the first 800,000 naira and you still have anything left, then we start taxing whatever you have left. So now let's say your first 800,000 naira is taxed as 0%. So let's check. Do you still have up to 2.2 million naira? Of course you do, because you earn 3.6 million naira in a year and you have 3,328,000 naira chargeable income. So you still have 2.2 million naira left. Remember, we said that will be charged as 15%. So 15% of 2.2 million naira is 330,000 naira. So, but after the 2.2 million naira, do you still have anything left? Of course you do, because you still have like 328,000 naira left. So we said anything after the first 2.2 million naira is going to be taxed at 18%. Now, you did not have the full 9 million naira, but you do have 328,000 naira. So your 328,000 naira will be taxed at 18%. So 18% of 328,000 naira is 59,040 naira. So if we calculate your 330,000 naira plus your 59,040 naira, it equals to 389,040 naira. My special advice for you, if you earn around this amount and your tax is in this range, you should be saving nothing less than 32,500. No? At worst, 32,420 naira every month to meet up. So as you are removing your transport allowance, as you are removing your feeding allowance, as you are removing your tithe if you are a Christian, as you are removing every other expenses, be keeping aside the government's money, because it will come for you at the end of the year. So keep 32,420 naira at least every month, so that by the end of the year, you will have your 289,040 naira. So let's go to high income earner. Let's take, for instance, somebody that earns 10 million naira in a month. So your annual earning is going to be 120 million naira. So if you're earning 120 million naira, you also have your deductible, which is your life insurance, health insurance, whatever it is. So, but for this particular one, I will not calculate all those ones, but I will just do your rent relief. So I expect you to live in a house that costs 2.5 million naira and above, which means if you pay anything from 2.5 million naira and above, then you can remove your 500k full rent relief. You understand now? So if we remove that 500k from the 120 million naira, we have 119,500,000 that the government can tax, with the mind that you don't have any other deductibles that you want to remove, like life insurance, health insurance, and every other thing. But if you have all those things, you can remove them. Remember, we say your first 800,000 naira is not taxable. So whether you are a high income earner or low income earner, your first 800,000 naira is not taxable. So which means you are not paying tax on your first 800,000 naira. The first 2.2 million naira, we said it's going to be taxed at 15%. 15% of 2.2 million naira is 330,000 naira. So after the first 2.2 million naira, we still have money. Anything that increased from that 2.2 million naira to the next 9 million naira is going to be taxed at 18%. 18% of 9 million naira is 1,620,000 naira. Now, after that 9 million, anything that we have left from that 9 million to the next 13 million naira is going to be taxed at 21%. And because we were up to that 13 million naira, then 21% of 13 million naira is 2,730,000 naira. And even at this point, we've only taxed 25 million naira. If we remove the 25 million naira from the 119,500,000, we still have 94.5 million naira. So we still have a lot of money to tax. After that 30 million, the next stage is 25 million. Which means anything that increased from that 30 million, maybe it's 1 naira or 800,000 naira, up to the next 25 million naira, is going to be taxed at 23%. And because this person still have up to that 25 million naira, we're going to tax that at 23%, and 23% of 25 million naira is 5,750,000 naira. Now, if you look at the whole calculation we've done, we've been able to tax 50 million naira out of this person's money. And even after this, we still have 69.5 million naira left. But if you still have anything after your first 50 million naira, whatever you make, when we calculate the rest, whatever it is going to be taxed at 25%. Since this person still have up to 69 million naira after we've taxed the first 50 million naira, the 69 million naira will be taxed at 25%. And 25% of 69.5 million naira is going to be 17,375,000 naira only. I should not be saying only, that's a lot of money. If you earn 120 million naira in a year and you only have your rent relief as the only legal deductible that you can remove, then your tax is going to be 27,805,000 naira. I don't want to say only, because that is not only. Don't let bank deceive you. It's not only. 27,805,000 naira is not only. Yeah, thank you. Now, for you to be on the safer side, you need to set aside 2,317,083 naira every month to be on the safer side. So which means you have less than 8 million naira to spend. whatever you want to do with that, do it. Government is taking 2,317,083 naira from your money every month. Even with rent relief, someone earning 10 million naira every month will still surrender 2.3 million naira as tax. What does this mean in a painful human language? It means almost 3 months of your year are spent working exclusively for the government. So, after all this calculation, after all this mathematics, the real question becomes painfully obvious, which is, what exactly are we paying for? If you like this video and you would love to know why this tax reform is not what we need at this moment, click on the link below and then maybe I'll put it above too. You can click there or click below. And also if you want me to make video about anything, just put it in the comment section. I'm Ola Ipopola and this is Ola Ola. I see you in the next one.